Hey, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor and best-selling author, and we are here to talk about the stock market, really the crypto market. There was a lot of noise around Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies today that basically tanked the market, at least for today. We know that these type of assets are 24/7 and they can drop at the flip of a dime and then turn back around and really make you a lot of money. So I want to give you my thoughts on what is going on, why it is going on, and then what do I expect moving forward. Now the kids are asleep, so I'm going to try and keep it down, try and keep it quick for tonight, and just give you some quick education on what's going on and what we're going to do for the rest of the week as well. So like, subscribe, do all those things, and let's go ahead and get started. So as of today, I've got my notes here. As of today, and right now I'm recording this at 8:30 p.m. on September 7th. So I want to give you a timestamp because, again, these assets are very volatile and things could be moving and shaking from the time that this article was written that I'm going to kind of pick from, as well as the time that this video is posted and the time that you watch it. So keep these things in mind. All right, so El Salvador has officially made Bitcoin a legal tender. It is a part of the country now, and there are some positives and some potential negatives around that. It is mostly this news, it's not all of this news, but most of this news is a reason why Bitcoin fell as much as 16% today, I think at the end of the day, which again is a 24/7 type of thing, so it's really 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever time people want to clock this thing. It dropped about 10 to 11%, which is significant. This is one of the first times it has dropped below the $50,000 mark for several months. It just wasn't a place to be. Then it finally hit 50. People thought things were fine again, and it dropped below $50,000 again. So here's what you need to know, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. So supporters of El Salvador, and again, El Salvador is making Bitcoin officially, as of today, a legal tender. Again, there are some requirements that people of the country of Salvador now have to use Bitcoin for. So I'm going to get to that in just a second. As well as they made an announcement, I think in June, earlier this year, they said they were going to do this. Now it actually became law. It's officially in effect as of today. So let's go ahead and kind of pick and kind of give you the highlights. So supporters of El Salvador's move said it indicates a growing acceptance and that other countries could follow. This has been the dream of Bitcoin boys, or whoever you want to put in that corner, that have been very, very loud about what Bitcoin could do. And they've been telling us this for what, 3, 4, 5 years now, that this was the move, that eventually it will become more adopted and that countries may adopt it, and it could do this and it could do that, and this is a step in the right direction. However, the Salvadorian government hopes that it could boost financial inclusion in a country where around 70% of citizens do not have access to traditional financial services according to the Bitcoin law. I think that's a fair point. If you don't have regular traditional outlets to save money and to transfer money back and forth, Bitcoin might be a solution to that. Now, obviously, there are some downsides because I am saving money and I come back and my money is now worth 10% less. That's not necessarily a safe place for me to save. As an investor, if I have time on my side, I'm not really worried about the volatility, that might be something. Again, just pointing these things out. Okay, so the legislation allows prices to be displayed in Bitcoin. That's interesting. Tax contributions can now be paid with the digital currency, and exchanges in Bitcoin will not be subject to capital gains tax, which is also very, very interesting. Also, El Salvador launched its own wallet app called Chivo, assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly, which citizens can sign up with a national ID in order to transact in Bitcoin. Users will receive $30 worth of Bitcoin when they sign up to push adoption and push up the speed of adoption. So to get people on it, you get $30 Bitcoin if you sign up and get their wallet app. Again, these are just some of the highlights of things that stood out for me. One other thing that I want to tell you guys too, as a part of the law, businesses will be required to accept Bitcoin for goods and services, though merchants who aren't technologically able to accept Bitcoin will be exempt. That's actually a pretty big sector in El Salvador currently. The government installed 200 Bitcoin ATMs around El Salvador, which I think is interesting, and also bought 400 Bitcoin worth about $20 million, and is preloading it into those crypto wallets that I had mentioned earlier. So those are the initial news and notes for El Salvador. Now, in a normal space, this would be a good thing for Bitcoin. It would be. You would think a country about 20 million, it is requiring businesses and people to take Bitcoin. I can pay my taxes in Bitcoin. I can exchange without having that capital gains tax. This is supposed to be a good thing, but again, a double-digit drop within a few hours isn't the most comfortable thing. Personally, I see this as a buying opportunity. I'm buying and holding Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and others. I'm not the world's biggest Bitcoin expert. However, I do have some. I'm holding on to it. I'm trying to work up to that 5% allocation, which is the same allocation I have for individual stocks. So these type of drops do not affect me because I have a very limited slice of my money into it 4 times just like this. However, I don't think this is a red flag, I would say, for cryptocurrencies. I think this is a green to medium flag because, again, it is a good sign that it's becoming more adopted, and perhaps other countries, maybe in the Latin American region, will start to pick it up, and then years and years and years down the line, you'll see a country like the United States. I don't think you're going to see the US or Europe or even China pick this up anytime soon, but it could be down the pike years from now. If you're an early investor and you're holding for that long, perhaps you can see big gains. That's not what I would bank on. I would just bank on the fact that it's becoming more adopted just across the world, primarily by our banking system like Goldman Sachs, even like a Tesla earlier this year, even though that caused some issues as well. The other thing is there is a significant downside. So the International Monetary Fund, they're an economic organization. They do a whole bunch of stuff. That's a whole nother video about what they do and how they work. But they've already warned El Salvador that this could be an issue. So the country itself does own $20 million in Bitcoin. It's on their balance sheet. A balance sheet is what you own for yourself or a country. It basically lists and has numbers for your assets and liabilities. So you own Bitcoin, that's going to be an asset. You got cash, you got stocks, bonds, all those things are on the asset category, and then on the liability side, that's when you have your loans you have to pay out and all your debts, and that tells you the value, quote unquote, or the net worth, quote unquote, of a country. The problem is, again, if you are storing a lot of the country's money in Bitcoin and it just dropped 10% today, how do you deal with that if you have to pay for goods and services for your country, building roads and all types of other things? I don't know. And there is no true answer for that. This is a very large, well, I wouldn't say very large scale because the population of El Salvador is less than New York City. So it's large scale, but it's not, it's not China, it's not India or anything like that. So it's a decent experiment and it could go either way for El Salvador. Obviously, I hope that it does go well because I think it is a very interesting case study and it may level the playing field for certain groups of people. We'll see. However, it is an experiment. It is volatile. We'll see what happens. And it's just something to keep your eye on. I would not take this to the bank and say, this is it for Bitcoin and everything's going to take off from here. We don't know that. But again, I am buying and holding. I'm DCAing, dollar cost averaging, this exact same thing I do with the stock market. Say, look, I'm just adding a little bit here and there. I'm going to mind my business. I'm not going to be concerned about any short-term dips or drops. I'm holding and I'm going to just be holding, okay? So just wanted to give you that perspective as well. But that is what happened in the crypto world. Coinbase also lost, or dropped rather, I think it was a single-digit loss, somewhere between 4 to 8% that Coinbase dropped, which, again, makes sense. But it's just something to keep your eye on. No red flags, no green flags, but I do think it's more positive than negative. But I'm not going to be here and have rose-colored glasses and just say everything's fine from here on out and that it'll just take over the world. It could. I don't know what the chances are, and I don't know the time frame of that either, because more established more established countries could be a little more hesitant towards it and may not adapt it as quickly. But also in El Salvador, you don't have, based on the research and the articles rather that have come out, the adoption rate isn't going to be as high at the very beginning because a lot of El Salvador lacks the capacity and the ability to even use these types of wallets and have the right participation rate. So again, we will see where this goes and how this plays out. I would keep an eye on it because, again, it could be a very good case study for other countries that might consider adopting it. And obviously we talked about the downside. So just wanted to explain that, let you guys know what happened. Got a lot of questions about what happened and why. and what this could mean for the entire crypto world. Again, I would put a very big asterisk or pump the brakes on and say, look, we don't really know just yet because this is brand new. It's the first time that this happened for a government to adopt it. So anything that you hear is hearsay. We have no cases for this. Unlike the stock market, where I could say, well, when this recession happened in this year, this is what happened, and I can compare notes. We don't know that yet. So sit tight. I think it is a good thing. I think it's more positive than negative. But again, I do recognize the downsides. But just, this is all a new space for all of us. And we will have to wait and see what happens next. All right? That's it for me. Talk to you guys later.